discover that it was Olorin who was deemed most deserving of bearing Narnia. Upon learning of this revelation, the bitterness within Kurumo's heart grew. He greatly desired a ring of power for his own, and therefore harbored much envy and resentment towards Olorin. Now that the wizards wandered the lands of Middle-earth, men gave the wizards new names. Kurumo became known as Saruman the White, while Olorin was called Gandalf the Grey. 3 more Maiar joined Kurumo and Olorin in Middle-earth, Radagast the Brown and the 2 Blue Wizards. Saruman went east with the 2 Blue Wizards for many years, whilst Gandalf and Radagast remained in the west. For the purposes of this video, all that we need to know of this period is that Saruman was studying the ancient ways of Sauron, during which time he developed an envy of the Dark Lord. Too long he had studied the ways of Sauron in hope to defeat him, and now he envied him as a rival rather than hated his works. In the dark waters of Sauron's ambition, Saruman found his reflection as he succumbed to the allure of imitation. And so, Saruman, ensnared in the throes of this bitter longing, followed in the footsteps of Sauron. Saruman returned from the distant reaches of the east around the year 2463 of the Third Age. His reappearance rather conveniently aligned with the end of the Watchful Peace and the re-emergence of the ominous shadow that was growing in the heart of Mirkwood. The White Council was soon formed, a coalition of the wise and powerful who would decide how to deal with this growing threat. Saruman aspired to lead the council, the desire born out of his own vanity. Yet it was only after Gandalf, who was favored by Galadriel, gracefully declined the role that the leadership was offered to Saruman. Ever most vigilant was Mithrandir, and he it was that most doubted the darkness in Mirkwood, and he went to Dol Guldur, when the sorcerer fled from him, and there was a watchful peace for a long while. But at length the shadow returned, and its power increased. And in that time was first made the Council of the Wise, that is called the White Council, and therein were Elrond and Galadriel and Círdan, and other lords of the Eldar, and with them were Mithrandir and Curunir. And Curunir, that was Saruman the White, was chosen to be their chief, for he had most studied the devices of Sauron of old. Galadriel indeed had wished that Mithrandir should be the head of the council, and Saruman begrudged them that, for his pride and desire of mastery was grown great. But Mithrandir refused the office, since he would have no ties and no allegiance, save to those who sent him. Once again, the preferential treatment that Gandalf received from the elves served to stoke Saruman's simmering enmity. In the year 2759 of the Third Age, a new chapter unfolded for the White Wizard. Saruman ventured to Rohan seeking the keys to the ancient fortress of Isengard, which had been in the hands of the hostile men of Dunland for around 50 years. After receiving approval from the Steward of Gondor and the King of Rohan, Saruman made his new home there within the Tower of Orthanc. In this way, Saruman began to behave as a lord of men, for at first he held Isengard as a lieutenant of the steward and warden of the tower. But Frealaf was as glad as Beren to have this, and to know that Isengard was in the hands of a strong friend. A friend he long seemed, and maybe in the beginning he was one in truth. Though afterwards, there was little doubt in men's minds that Saruman went to Isengard in hope to find the stone still there, and with the purpose of building up a power of his own. Saruman would have found many lost treasures of the Old Kingdom in the Tower of Orthanc, which had been locked for many years. Among them was one of the few remaining Palantiri, the legendary Seeing Stones. Around 90 years would pass before Gandalf ventured alone into the shadowed halls of Dol Guldur. Here, amidst the darkness, he uncovered the unmistakable essence of the Dark Lord. Just as he had feared, Sauron had returned,